Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to SongNet. My name is Jimmy, and we do this the first Wednesday every month. We have somebody from the music industry that you get a chance to talk to. And today we have a very special guest because we're starting to branch out a little bit from the LA area. As I've always, said before, that LA is a place where everybody is, so we don't have to go very much further beyond that. But since the pandemic, things have changed, and not only that, but things have expanded. And so now we've got Fett all the way from Nashville coming in to share a little bit of wisdom and listen to your stuff and talk about what's going on in the industry on his end too. Because Nashville is another place where you don't have to walk too far just to meet somebody from the industry. In fact, just the other day I was talking to Steve Postel with the immediate family. He's going to be picking up a case from me. So good stuff. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. Phil, why don't you say hello and let us know what you do basically?
Hi there, I'm Fett. Or I guess I should say howdy, y'all. I'm Fett because I'm in Nashville. I've been here 31 years this month. Hard to imagine. I'm primarily a producer engineer, studio owner, and I do everything from full productions to mixing to mastering and everything in between. Probably the biggest change for me over the years has been that I got further and further and further into teaching other people how to do what I do. So some of you might be familiar with my Fett's Mixing Roadmap book, which has been out for a while now. I got a whole bunch of online courses. I do a lot of consulting. I do a lot of teaching at music conventions and things like that. So I'd say, and coaching, consulting, I'd say I'm about split 50-50 now between those things and doing the actual day-to-day work of production.
Very cool. And you've also had a couple other things too. I remember you had that like a first aid kit thing for
Oh, we're going way back now.
going way back because that's how far back we go. I mean, I've
That's
known you
right.
for
The
years.
songwriter survival kit that Nancy Moran, my partner in crime, and I did with Danny Arena and Sarah Light from songu.com quite a few years ago. And I'm also the host of empoweringwomeninaudio.com, which it's been kind of an interesting evolution. When I first started it 6 or 7 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of opportunity out there for women in audio, and I'm happy to report that there's a lot more available nowadays than there was back then. So very pleased about that.
Yeah, that's really changed quite a bit. I do a audio lunch thing with some friends, and it's remarkable. I'd say probably half of the people that are actually working in audio are at that lunch. It's pretty amazing
Yeah.
in the general area, and half of them are actually women. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Manley from Manley,
Oh yeah,
California.
Ivana. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Ivana's always there. She's one of our regulars at that lunch, and it's really cool to talk to her. She's got a lot of experience there. And
Talked to her at a lot of NAM shows over the years back in the
oh yeah,
day.
yep, she knows her stuff. And so anyway, all right. Well, generally, what we usually do is we just go ahead and listen to people's stuff, and then you can make commentary, and then also bring in other things that you want to talk about beyond that over the person's critique or whatever that we're doing here. So that sound okay to you there, Fett?
Yeah, I love interaction, and it'll hopefully keep me from being too long-winded. If we've got 14 songs to go through tonight, I'll
Okay,
try
and
to not be my usual self here.
yeah, and you can cut them off in a verse chorus if you want. That's fine. People here
Yeah,
understand
we'll,
that.
we'll do the Nashville thing then. Just in the interest of getting through everybody's material,
Absolutely.
let's do a verse and chorus of all of them, Stephen. So just so you're
Okay,
aware of that on your end.
sure.
Okay,
Um,
Steve, you're taking it away.
well, let's see. All right, first up, I put the order. This is the order they were received in. I'm not sure if everybody's actually here yet, so I'll just keep going down and get it in there. Let's see. So first up,
I'm sure some of the folks
give
who
me a moment
submitted
here.
are here already.
Is
So
Papa
let's
is
pick on
Papa
them
S-
first.
yeah, is Papa Satch here? I don't think he's here yet. Or how about Larry Rusev? Is
I
Larry
see
here?
Larry. Yeah, Larry's
Okay.
waving his hand there. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's bring up Larry's. So what I do here is I share the screen, then you'll get to see the lyrics, and I'll pull up the lyrics.
Yeah, Stephen, before you do that,
Yeah,
if if there's anything in particular that Larry would like feedback on, since I'm a producer and a songwriter and a guitar player and what have you, if there's something in particular, I'm also a Nashville guy, so that might have something to do with it. But Larry, if there's anything specific that you'd like feedback on, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just do my best.
Okay. Go ahead, Larry, if you have any comments. Let me share my screen.
Can you hear me here?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Say production quality, arrangement. This is an instrumental. There are no lyrics.
Okay.
Here we go.
That sounds good.
That's
Are
it.
we allowed to do a round of applause?
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, man, that's the best lyric I've read all week. I'll tell you. So I can't tell if this mix is all in mono or whether I don't have something set in Zoom.
I
the
didn't
output
have it.
there.
It's my apologies. I didn't have the stereo on. I can play just a hair of it a little bit more if you want to hear
No,
that.
that's all right. I
Okay,
think there's
yeah.
one thing I can focus on that isn't going to make a difference either way.
Okay.
But yeah, if you could send everything to me in stereo, since I'm
Yeah, of
one of those
course.
audio guys.
Right.
So Larry, first of all, I really like the groove of this piece.
Okay.
It's, Nashville, they call that foot stomping music, but it's got a nice driving kind of thing going to it underneath the song all the way. I really like the grittiness of the guitars, the grittiness of the rhythm guitar against the sort of silky slitheriness of the slide guitar. The bass and drums are not like real super complicated and all over the map. They just hold down the pocket, hold down the groove. So that's exactly what this kind of song wants to hear. The only thing that came to mind for me from a production or arrangement perspective is, I'm very much about sharing the spectrum in a mix, meaning that different elements of the mix kind of occupy or dominate, I should say, the different frequency parts of the frequency spectrum, for example.
Yeah.
Stereo spectrum.
Yep.
And I rarely say this to people, but I think this is one of the cases where you could put a little mud back in your mix. And I think it's not a case of adding it to the whole mix. What I'd like to hear you try first is to put some of that somewhere between 250 and 450 cycles is usually the magic mud zone that gives power to electric guitars. So that rhythm, that driving guitar that goes all the way through it. I love the grit of it, and I love the top end, where it breaks up and distorts, because that's what gives it a lot of energy. But it's a little thin, And if you
Okay.
gave it like somewhere between that 250 to 450 hertz range, just a little bump of EQ of a couple decibels, I think it would bring out the whoosh, the power. And
Okay.
I don't know how it was recorded or what it came from, but it will sound, I think, more like a mic'd amp too. So
Okay.
it might have been mic'd already, but it'll
Yeah.
bring back in that kind of push you get from pushing air through a speaker.
Okay.
So that's what I would try first. I just try adding that, let's say average 350 cycles, a couple of decibels to that driving electric rhythm guitar. And if
Yeah.
that doesn't work, if it still feels a little thin across the board, and it probably won't because your bass
Okay.
and what have you is nice and tight, then you might want to bump a little bit of that over the whole mix. But other than that, I think it's real well balanced. I can hear everything. I could hear the balance of the banjo against the guitars, which I thought was really kind of cool. So yeah, great energy, man. That's the key thing. It's got a really good groove and it's maintained all the way through.
Great. Thank you very much, Fett.
You're most welcome.
Okay,
That was
next we
fun.
have.
We're starting on
Oh,
a good
yeah.
one there.
Oh yeah. Dave Clausens, you're here, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so
Hey, Dave.
Dave will be next.
Hey, Fett.
This is called Left Out. And let me do my screen share.
And if
here.
anybody who's not blabbing could mute while they're not on, that'll help me not get funny little noises in the background when I go, that's not in the mix.
Right.
Give me stereo, Steven. Give me stereo.
That I do have. That stereo's on.
My stomach's churning, palms start to sweat. They're choosing teams, no one's called my name yet. To be chosen last is not to be chosen at all. They only say my name while laughing in the hall. Well, I'm the one left out. Don't know where to begin. I'm not trying to get even. I just wanna fit in. Open my sack lunch, glued to my phone, texting my mother so I don't feel alone. To be chosen last is not to be chosen at all. And they only say my name while laughing in the hall. Well, I'm the one left out. Don't know where to begin. I'm not trying to get even. I just wanna fit in.
Yay! Round of applause, everyone. Hey, Dave, that's really cool, man.
Hey, thank you.
It's cool on several levels, and one of the things that I really like is you set up the idea of being left out right away, right in that first verse, and you kind of expand on it, and then you get a little different flavor. Like I want to hear the rest of the song, from a lyrical perspective. That's really cool. I think the other thing is your absolute strength is that great weathered, textured voice you've got. That's something that is going to convey a song like this like no other voice can. And I don't know if this is a song you wrote for yourself, but it feels very genuine. It feels very, very real, the vocal. And man, I'll take that any day over a slick, auto-tuned, processed, lots of reverb, whatever voice any day, because that naturalness is going to come through to the listener. Having said that, I would suspect that the voice, that's your voice, right?
Yes.
I would suspect that the voice was recorded with a very typical standard studio vocal condenser, um, which,
Yeah, an AT4040.
yeah, that's a great mic. Um, the issue with all of those mics is they have a presence peak. Depends on the mic. It's anywhere from like 1K to 8K in various degrees and stuff like that, but it's usually in the 2 to 4K range. Well, for guys like you and me that tend to be a little nasal, it's too much of us in there. So the reason those presence peaks are there is because they help the voice cut through the mix, right? Because of where the frequency is. But I think you're using a nylon string guitar in this, not a steel string.
Yes.
So you're not competing with all that, 2 to 5K on a guitar. It's a much, much warmer instrument, and you've got that nice warm bass going on. So you can afford to cut down a little bit of that cut through frequency with EQ in your vocal and actually add a little. And this is something you're going to have to find specific to you, but bring up some of that gorgeous chest you've got in your voice. And that lower part of, your larynx in here is where that beautiful emotion is coming from. And that's what, if you just did that with the EQ, you brought down a little of that probably 3-4K and brought up a little that maybe 400 cycles, then all of a sudden that warmth and that beautiful emotional voice here is going to come across even more. Now, what I would do in my situation, because I know my voice and, I'm super nasal and I have nothing on the high end. I mean, there's nothing up there at all. I got to crank, 8, 10K on my voice. But what I do is I'd use a different mic. I'd find a different mic that sounds way much more like me. And there's a couple that I've found over the years that suit my voice really well. And then I don't have to do that every time on every mix that I sing. But man, don't try to ever sing like somebody else. I think that's the strength of this song and of this production is your voice. So man, make it shine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I did have one question, Dave. Did you write this for a pitch?
No, it was part of a songwriting group, and it was kind of a prompt, but not really a prompt. So the prompt was actually the previous song I wrote to add a chord that does not belong to the key, but don't think about it theoretically. And the name of that was called The Odd Man Out. So once I wrote that song, I thought, well, shoot, I could write a song about, so for Fett, I'm a retired teacher. So it's not about my life, me autobiographically, but it is biographically because I've seen students like this all throughout my tenure.
Oh yeah.
So, once I kind of I needed something to write about, so I wrote about that.
That's cool. Yeah, when there's a bit of real life where it comes from, it makes it that much better, much more believable. I was that kid who never got picked for the sports team, so I could completely relate. He's like, you had me at verse 1.
Thank you, Fett.
The nerdy musician who never got picked for sports. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. That'll be on my tombstone.
And when you've heard enough Fett, you can kind of make a motion or something. Steve can see that. So.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I forgot to do it that time because I was so engrossed in the song.
Okay. Next up we have David Jones, and I think David's here, right?
I am. Yes. Hi.
There he is. Hi, David.
Hello.
This is called Order and Chaos.
Before we do that, David, was there anything specific feedback you wanted on this? We didn't ask Dave.
Production-wise, I'm very, very much of a novice. It's, I guess, more of the songwriting, but if you have a general comment on production, I'd love to hear it as well.
All righty.
Okay.
Oh, I've always been a hurricane, living proudly on Tranquility Lane. Every single day I smile and wave. Occasionally I completely destroy everything. My order is chaos. It taunts and betrays us. It builds me a city. It makes me look pretty, then kills us and flays us. My chaos is order. I sit in the corner. I cry myself silly. I hate it, but really, it's moving me forward. I can always feel your pain deep inside my own parietal brain. Every day I smile and say, how are you? But sometimes my shame blows us away. My order is chaos. It taunts and betrays us. It builds me a city. It makes me look pretty, then kills us and flays us. And my chaos is order. I sit in the corner. I cry myself silly. I hate it, but really, it's moving me forward. How are you out on?
Hey, Stephen, could you roll up and show the whole chorus on the screen for me once, if it's possible?
Sure. Let's see.
Okay, that's beautiful. Man, you asked primarily for songwriting feedback. I love this. Lyrically, this is one of the more interesting things I've seen come along in a really good long time.
Thank you so much.
The whole concept of my order is chaos is cool to begin with, but what you do with it, my order is chaos, and then my chaos is order in the second half of the verse. And I mean, who in the world rhymes flays us? Seriously. And I mean that in a good way with betrays us. This is really, I don't want to say it's poetic because that's not really right. And it's not like trying to be sophisticated for the sake of being sophisticated or anything like that. It's just really thoughtful lyrics. It's like you don't just, people just don't barf this up. You actually had to think about this and really put it together. So personally, for me, it really appeals. And the other thing I really like about this chorus is what you've done with the prosody. The way my order is chaos, the rhythm of the syllables of the words so well matches the beat of the notes in the melody. And that's something that, takes years to learn. A lot of people never really get it, but it just really flows well. Now, as far as, I'd be curious if you could tell me just a little bit about the purpose of this song / recording and or, what your intent is for it.
To be honest, I don't know. I wrote the song kind of for myself. I recorded this demo kind of just for myself to express it, to share. I've only recently thought about performances or trying to share it with anyone else. This is one of the things I'm doing just to kind of get it out there. So I don't have a purpose other than just sharing my art, I guess.
Okay. Well, that's good news for me right now, because then I don't have to say, oh, I don't know where you're going to pitch this thing or anything like that. But I would say, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but this is going to be a unique pitch because not everybody's going to get it or react to it the way I did. I mean, if you took it down to Nashville and took it on Music Row, they're going to say, what? You got a lot of them out of town words in there, that's and I'm being, a little bit facetious. I mean, we have everything in Nashville, but the mainstream core country music publishing world wouldn't know what in the world to do with this. But it's a big industry in a big world with a lot of genres and, a lot of like something like that. It might be just perfect in a weird movie scene, something like that. So the reaction you're going to get from a lot of quote industry people is, man, cool song, but I don't know what to do with it. That does not mean you shouldn't continue to promote this song, have the song listened to, send the song places, because somebody, the right person, is going to get it. And they're going to know what to do with it. As far as your production goes, you said you're a novice, but there was some really cool little little melodic stuff and a little string line going in there.
Mhm.
Those are really clever instincts. And
Okay,
I don't
thank
know
you.
if this stuff you just threw on or whether you came up with that, but those are parts that interact and there is an arrangement going on, and it complements the kind of oddity of the song in a really good way. So you may not feel like, you've got the technical chops or whatever yet, but man, the instincts are there. So
Awesome.
keep doing, keep writing like you're writing and arranging like you're arranging, because it's all going to come together in time. And I just thought it was great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You are most welcome. I'm going to be, my order is chaos. And Nancy's going to be, why are you singing that at midnight when you're about to go to bed? Well, there's this guy I heard tonight. You got to check out this song. Well, fortunately, this will be on YouTube, so I can play it for her later.
Okay, so
Great work.
next up we have, well, Ed Lackey, but Ed's not here, right, Jimmy? I don't see him. I didn't see him. So we'll skip him and maybe he'll come in later. So next up we'll have
Is
John
Ed
Piper.
being a lackey? Is that the problem? Sorry, I'm sure he gets that all the time.
Have mercy. All right, so
Sorry about
John Pfeiffer is up next, and
Hello, John.
Hi, Fett.
So what are you looking for?
Well, let me just say I recorded this afternoon on a cappella.
Okay.
Just I stuck the phone in front of myself and played the guitar and sang it and tried to put the phone where it would catch more of the vocal. So there's not much. There's no production. Basically.
So it's today's work tape, as some of us are old enough to remember tapes would say. Yeah.
Today, yeah, exactly. So I don't
Okay.
have much in the way of production, but I'm just curious as to what you think I should do with it, and
Okay.
what ideas you might come up with, and whether you like it, whether you think it's got possibility, and where I should take it.
I'd say we got a roadmap to follow. Cool.
Thanks.
all right, here we go. It's called Chasing the Fall.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
You need weird audio.
Yeah, me too. Hey, Steven.
Yeah.
Let's try something here. To be fair to John, let's play a different song and then play this one again and see if Zoom is able to get its act together here and stop
you
messing
mean-
with the
I
buffering.
was gonna say it was a lot clearer than that when I sent it. When I
Yeah,
sent
that's
the
a work
MP3
tape, all
to you.
right.
No, it shouldn't sound that bad. It's
Yeah, let's switch to a different one and then back to this one, and that might clear it up. One of the tricks I'm used to use.
Do you
Oh, the
mean-
other thing is, do you have what do they call it? Original sound for musicians switched on your Zoom?
I do, yes.
Yeah, because that usually cleans up weird stuff like that. But
I mean,
so let's play 10 seconds of anything and then come back to this and see if it.
Oh, I
helps.
see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We'll
Hopefully,
play 10
Zoom
seconds
will
of
wake
Ed's.
up.
Let me see what this sounds like.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's doing the same thing.
Okay. Let me take a look at my setting here. Here we go.
Yeah. Sometimes
So I
it's
have
just a
stereo
case of
sound.
hopping out and back in again. So
And then stereo. Let's put it on mono, and then I'll go back into stereo
okay,
and see if that cleans it up. If there we
Make it-
go. Gotta
make
get
it
the
clean
down
its
bar
buffers.
here. Okay, make sure that.
I don't mind this stuff happening at all, because when I sit here in front of my console every day and do my job, man, all this technology we take for granted, it's worth a glitch here and there. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous
Okay.
what we're doing right now.
All right, so let's try one more time. Let's see. This is, yeah, here we go. Let's see if that works.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Nope.
What? On my
Just out
end,
of
it's-
curiosity, do you have anything other than Windows Media Player on that machine that you could try it, like VLC Media or something like that?
Uh,
Do an open with and see if there's another audio. Sometimes
boy.
sometimes Windows Media Player gets a little out to lunch.
Okay. Let me see if open with. Choose another app, media player. I don't think I have anything else other than that.
Yeah, Windows Media Player Legacy. That's the one you want right there. That's
okay.
that's
All right.
likely to do a much better job. And you can go with custom settings. Don't let it change everything out from under you. Yeah, there you go.
I'll just hit finish, I guess. Anything
Yeah.
I should check here?
No, that's fine. As long as it doesn't do all the other stuff automatically. This will only take a moment. This might fix it. I still
Okay.
keep mine laying around for exactly that reason.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Nah, okay. It's Zoom's fault.
Oh, okay. 'Cause on my end, it sounds okay. I mean, it sounds
So
tolerable,
are you the host of this call on Zoom, or is Jimmy?
but, I'm the host.
Let's see. If you hop out, it's not gonna it's gonna probably stop recording on YouTube.
Yeah. Do you want to do speedtest.net to see if you got a really slow speed going on with the storm happening right now? Sometimes bad audio is, low internet speed.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. You want me to?
Well,
go to
another option might be to like change your audio interface temporarily on Zoom and then change it back to what it was. A lot of times that'll clean it up. You can tell I've had to do this a lot of times. There's nothing worse than being an audio consultant and nobody being able to hear the audio. So I know every trick in the book. So if you go under your audio settings in the lower
Right.
left corner next to the
Yeah,
little microphone
right.
symbol at the bottom, you
Yeah.
should be able to pick, I think Zoom calls it your device for audio. And if you switch that to something else, you may even get another driver for the same device you're on, then switch back. A lot of times that'll help clean it up.
The other option is that I could just get out the guitar and try to play it for you.
Well, that's a backup plan. Unfortunately, I think the other 10 people after you won't be able to have that luxury, but
Okay. You want me to try it once more on this? Just
yeah. And if that doesn't work, we'll have John play the song live. What the heck?
Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, also you'd have everybody make sure they're muted because sometimes it's like a weird sub audio noise. So
Yeah,
everybody,
if anybody else has original sound for musicians turned on, definitely turn it off.
Okay.
Where the hell is that original sound for musicians?
It's under audio settings, audio, and it's at the bottom of the screen. And if you don't see it, hit the advanced button, and it'll be below that.
Settings.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, really? Good.
I'm hearing something.
Ah, beautiful.
The north wind had his hoary way with early autumn hues as we packed our summer dreams to hurry south. Had his stormy way with ashes of our bonfires on the beach, fevered kisses, smoky waltzes burning neath the northern lights. All right, we're chasing the fall, holding July's passion, holding off fell winter's call. Summer greens now red and gold, all too soon are going gray. Hey, let's chase the fall forever and together chase those winter blues away. We're steaming south in hopes we steal ahead of old Jack Frost. Maybe outrun old man Winter's icy breath. Down the back roads and the hollers where the season takes her time. Gives up one more shot of summer from a jug of warm moonshine. How fine we're chasing the fall, chasing the fall. Holding July's passion, holding off fell winter's call. Summer greens now red and gold, all too soon are going gray. Hey, let's chase the fall forever and together chase those winter blues away.
Yeah. Well, we got the audio working. I don't know what magic button you pushed, but you really got the job done.
I think it was going in and out of those different things, you know, in and out of the speakers, in and out of everything. And just,
Well, John,
yeah.
Well, that's another good one there, man. We got some writers in the group tonight, folks.
You didn't get as far as the bridge. I like the
all right.
changes in the bridge.
That's all right. You know,
that's okay.
When you do what I've been doing for as long as I've been doing it, you usually know by the end of the first verse what kind of quality song you're dealing with. And like I said to one of the songs before, it really kind of intrigued me enough. I think it was Dave's song where I said, you know, I want to hear the rest of the song. I want to know where this is going to go. And I think part of it is because you've set it up so well lyrically, and you've used words that you know aren't common but don't sound like you're trying to be sophisticated. It's just a really, really well written lyric. And I could totally hear this as the song at the end of a million TV series episodes.
Oh, cool.
A lot of times, a very, very common technique they do nowadays, particularly on like streaming series and stuff, is they'll have a final scene that's got some kind of a mood about it. And then they'll put an entire song with that flavor of mood. And it doesn't have to be a literal reference to whatever happened in the scene. It kind of suggests a feeling. And would you describe this song in any particular way, like a little whimsical, or I'm just picking a random word out? What do you think of when you want to describe this song to somebody?
Oh, I'm just thinking of I was just thinking as a writer, you know, thinking of terms of, you know, taking the literal chasing the season of the fall, but also fall is a term for falling in love, you
Double
know,
entendre,
the whole metaphor thing, the whole song is a metaphor for,
right. So,
you know, for chasing a love, you know, chasing the fall with your lover or whatever, you know.
Well, I'm getting at something
about
here. See, you're and I'm not doing this to be negative. I mean, this is a good interaction because this is exactly what happens between us and people we submit songs to. You're thinking from the inside out. I, as a lyricist, had an idea about such and such and so and so and so forth. The only thing the music supervisor is looking for in the meta tags of this song when it's in a library is what mood is it? So the reason I'm bringing this up is if you can find a word or words, several words actually, that describe the attitude or the mood or the feeling of this song.
Well, to me, it would be.
No one's ever heard the lyric.
To me, it would be adventurous.
There you go. So if there's the end of a series and there's these two guys that are about to go off on this unknown quest, this song would be the perfect closer for that episode. So when you're submitting it to a library and or a music supervisor or music editor, somebody like that in film and TV, they're going through a vast database of metadata. And they're like, these guys are about to go on an adventure. I need something that's adventurous. And if you've got adventurous in your metadata tags, they're going to see that under mood and bang, there's your placement, just like that, because the song is already there. The lyrics, the melody, the excellent guitar playing, all that stuff is there. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It's all about letting somebody know that it's there for the thing they want mood-wise right now. And that's where I hear it. I can see like 100 different ways that would be the perfect closing song for a TV episode.
Wow. Well, thanks.
And we could talk detail about the lyrics and stuff like that, but you've got that. I mean, that's it, all you got to do is pitch it now. It's you're way on top of that other stuff.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have Wendy Conrad. And this is
I'm telling you,
called-
gang, the bar's high here tonight.
Good. This is called C Spot Run.
Actually, I guess we should ask if there's particular feedback that's desired on this song or not.
Yeah, Wendy, you're here, right?
Oh, Wendy.
Yes, I'm here. I just took myself off mute. I'm here, and it would be great to get some suggestions on where I might pitch it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
See spot sit, see spot come. If I say go, boy, you can see spot run. And when I whistle, he flies back home. And I reward my faithful buddy with a bone. And he'd give me his heart, the shirt off his back, if he had one to give me in return. And he takes me as I am. He knows all my stories, don't keep tallies on how many times he's heard. See spot sit, see spot stay. In the corner office he shares with me each day. He brings opposites together at my work, digs for affection while the gossips dig for dirt. And he'd give me his heart and the shirt off his back if he had one to give me in return. And he takes me as I am. He knows all my stories, don't keep tallies on how many times he's heard.
Yay! Round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, you have a really, really beautiful singing voice, which really adds to the sincerity of this song. Is that this about your own personal dog?
It was a prompt that I had in a songwriting game that I could relate to. I mean, I love dogs. I don't have one, but it was just, I felt it as I wrote it.
Well, I did think one kind of side thought. I'm putting on my stand in your power woman hat for a second and thinking that would be a great like twist of words about an old boyfriend, but I didn't suspect that's where you were going
No,
with it.
it wasn't at all.
It would be a very clever little twist on that. But as far as pitching goes, one thing, I'm a pet lover too. I love cats, I love dogs, I love horses, I love them all. And I could hear this song right now in an ad for a shelter or the ASPCA or any organization that does anything with animals. Doesn't have to even be dogs.
Right.
But with the melody you've got and your really sincere voice and just the fact that it's a ballad and not some happy up tempo perky thing and stuff, man, if I heard that song with the images going across the screen from the local Franklin, Tennessee, I'd go down there and get a dog tomorrow. Seriously.
Oh man.
That would be, and there may not be any money in that, but there would be 2,000 places in the country that could use that song immediately. Any organization that's associated with pets that puts stuff out on YouTube ads, Facebook ads, television, whatever. It encapsulates that feeling that we all have with a connection to our pets. And that's what they're trying to tap into to get people to come to the shelters and take a pet.
Oh, it's wonderful.
So that'd be my first pitch, hands down.
I love that suggestion. That it never even crossed my mind. That is really fabulous idea.
Well,
when I've gotten my animals with my cats, they were rescued from the shelter, from ASPCA, SPCA.
Yeah. Well, we had two cats, one of them lived 15 years, one lived for 19 years, but they were literally both thrown out of a truck on Briley Parkway here in Nashville and somehow survived before somebody picked them up off the side of the road. And they were like 4 weeks old at the time. And, Nancy and I don't have any children, so they were our children for that entire time. So I could so relate to all the imagery and everything else in that song. If it hit me the way it did, man, stick some images in an ad with that in the background and you got me, and me and millions of other Americans or people all over the world for that matter.
Thank you.
So that would be my first pitch suggestion. The other one's a little bit similar to what I said a moment ago, because it mentions stuff that's very specific to dogs. It could be involved in a film and TV thing, but it's a situational song, right, which is it's less about mood than it is about reinforcing a scene. So if there's a dog in the scene that happens to have the habits of the dog in the song, then the music supervisor would say, oh, that's a good fit. But it's a much narrower pitch for film and TV than the last song was, which could be used for, a wide variety of things. So that's another possibility is, even just a little, 20 seconds of it as an interlude between two scenes in a show or something would work really well. And I love the singing on it. I just think it kicks it up an extra notch.
Thank you so much.
One other thing too, Wendy, is if you know anybody who's a veterinarian or somebody that is working with a veterinarian for their pets, veterinarians are always thinking about getting advertising out there. And
here.
If you work with that veterinarian and you put that out there as part of their advertising campaign, you could partner up and get some other things going on very well where you can generate some revenue from that, because for one, getting generated revenue from the airplays from the ad, getting generated revenue from that veterinary clinic, and of course you can get out there and sell that thing all kinds of different ways, even create merchandise based on that. So there's a lot of opportunities for a song like that.
Thank you so much, Jimmy.
Yeah,
great suggestion, Jimmy. Yeah,
really fabulous.
What he said.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Next up, we have Uffy Scruggs, and this is called
Uffy!
I Wish I Had Met You. So,
well, I want Affy to tell me what kind of feedback she would like on. I know her very well. She's a graduate of our Empowering Women in Audio clinics here in Nashville. So is there anything in particular you want me to listen for?
Yes, if you don't mind listening for the lyrics. I did this in GarageBand, so
okay.
And then maybe some next steps that I could do after, where I could pitch it, or some suggestions like you just gave Wendy.
Okay.
After I get a more professional mix, obviously.
All righty. Sounds like a plan. Nice to see you again in person. I'll bet that's you playing bass.
I wish I had met you a long time ago. I wish I had met you when my heart was still whole. But my heart is in repair. Pieces are scattered in corners everywhere, and I can't recover enough to share. I'm not gonna promise that we'll be friends. I'm not gonna promise 'cause I know how Somebody's gonna be hurt. Love and tears mingle in the dirt while pain and heartache only grow worse. I wish that I had met you a long time ago. I wish that I had met you a long time ago. Yeah, yeah.
I think you've got two things going for you here that would make this pitching opportunity. The first one is it's got a really good kind of groove to it. So what if you do get a a more refined demo on it? I wouldn't want to see it lose that that kind of little thing that's going underneath it is kind of what carries the song along. So I'd love to see that maintained in whatever finished production you have. The second thing is, I think this song, the lyric is full of contradictions, and I think if in a film or TV situation, if the music supervisor or somebody like that is looking for somebody, I'm trying to find the right words, but with conflict or anticipation with resolution. Basically, the song is saying two things. There's all this possibility going on, but I've been burned so badly already that I'm not convinced it's worth going into this relationship. That's the gist that I'm getting out of it. So it would have to be a situation where somebody is about to embark on, and it's a romantic relationship, definitely not a, any other kind of a thing. It's obviously what it's about. But I think the hope in it, the intriguing thing about it is there's still this thought, I wish I'd met you long ago. So it's not like the person is completely given up, but they're not really convinced it's worth it. So Afi, could you come up with a word that describes that sense of giving up, but still having anticipation? I'm not coming up with one right now. It's a conflict.
Yeah, it's a conflict. I said wistful and scared, quite frankly.
All right.
Wistful and scared.
Scared is probably a really good word to use, because if I'm somebody looking through a database, a bunch of meta tags and stuff for a mood, it's about fear. It's about fear, being afraid, suspicion, maybe. And because that one's resonating with me based on your lyric there, because so the point being that if you've got two characters in the show or the movie who are about to embark on this thing, and one of them is really, really having reservations about it, that might be the interlude that musically is underpinning it. One of the things I like about what you've done with the lyric, it's not so much the lyric with the word, but the spacing of the lyric is there's not a whole bunch of words everywhere, and there's like not millions of syllables in every single line or anything like that. It's like na 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 na, and it gives the lyric some room to breathe without it distracting from whatever's in the scene, or from the scenery, the actors, the dialogue, whatever the case is. So that's one of the things I really like about for film and TV. It's that elongating without just inundating the listener, or in this case the viewer, with too many syllables, because that's the first thing that'll like grab the attention away from what's happening in the picture, and that's the kiss of death. But yeah, that whole mistrust, fear, being scared, that's what I would put in there in a pitch, and say that if you're pitching it to somebody, that's what this song is about. Mistrust feels pretty good to me too. That resonates pretty well. Hope that's helpful. And you got some really cool descending stuff on the bass in that middle section there. I was paying attention. Very cool. Afi's a bass player, folks, so she gets extra points for the bass.
Yeah, I love your voice. That's very cool. And in fact, your vocals are actually good enough, I think, just to go ahead and put it out there as an artist. Have you thought about looking at smooth jazz playlists? That's something you might want to think about. Online. What used to be the thing was that radio used to be king, right? You get your stuff on radio and everything's wonderful. The fact is that radio sucks, and it really doesn't do a whole lot for people anymore. It still can do stuff, but it's nowhere near the powerful tool that it used to be. But now, in this day and age, you've got influencers everywhere, and you've got different people doing all kinds of playlist podcasts and things because they want to be famous for discovering new artists and things. So if you put it out at one of those playlists and say, hey, I like what you do. You got a lot of Sade on your playlist. I kind of got that vibe. Check out my stuff, and they may start playing it, and you may get some hits from that too.
Cool. Good suggestion, Jimmy. As always.
Okay.
Who's up
Actually,
next on our list?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I read it wrong. The next person up is actually Aj Bigler, but I don't see
AJ Bigler. I know
AJ.
AJ. Yeah.
I don't see him here. Is he here? Or I don't, because we can skip over. Maybe he'll come later, but
we can come back to AJ. I'll pick on AJ later.
All right. Okay. AJ. All right. So I saw Uffy and AJ, and I got mixed the two up, frankly. Anyway, okay, next one up. Then we have Catherine Beck. And Jimmy, you said you were going to speak for Catherine because she either couldn't make it or
let's towards the end, though, because she's not here, and let's get people that are here.
Okay. There was a guy named Warlock 3113. Didn't put his name on anything.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
How about Stephen Medeiros, who just came in, I believe?
Yeah, or actually, I was thinking Enrico because did Enrico you submitted something?
Enrico's been here since the beginning.
Yeah, and also he's already he's from the future, so.
Okay, well let's do Enrico then, and let me bring it up.
And
Just
while you're
open up.
bringing it up, Enrico, is there anything specific you'd like me to pay attention to here?
Yeah, hi, Fett.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, same here. And hi, Jimmy, and everybody else. Regarding you were talking about these meta words that people use to look for
Meta
songs,
yeah.
like you were saying to meta tags, so like you were saying to Wendy. So let's go from there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Aussie.
Oi.
Things to do. Right.
Always things to do, often making excuses. I've gotta do this and that. Gotta paint the kitchen, gotta do the laundry. Have to feed the cat. Got places to go and people to see. I have to check my mail. Was going alone, but since you're coming along, I'll make up another tale. Well, I'll make up another tale. Always things to do, gotta pick the fruit. Got to cut the grass. Got to trim the hedge and pull the weeds. Get rid of the trash. Gotta wash the car, change the oil, clean the wheels real well. We'll be going along, so if you want my help, just give me a yell. Get on the phone, give me a bell. Yeah.
There is actually a category, Enrico, of songs called list songs. And this particular one is done in a kind of a country style. And they're very They're very popular in the country genre, and there's actually one that was a huge hit back in the 90s, I believe, called The List. So I would definitely, in the metadata tags, say it's a list song. A lot of times, if they're looking for somebody who is very busy, has a lot to do, is being pulled in multiple directions, they look for a list song. And it's actually a very common writing technique here in Nashville.
Yes.
But I do have a second comment. Man, I was waiting for a chorus and it never happened. So this is an AAA song, which I get, and there's a whole lot of stuff in there. But man, I just hear it screaming for a chorus. And because the verses are 14 lines long, just 2 lines of a verse that sums up something, that's different from what you've already said, would like bring this song to fruition. I like the idea. I mean, again, the list songs are very common and people can relate to them and everything else. And that's one of the things I like about this particular one. It's all everyday stuff that we all have to deal with. It's not, oh, I got to go, buy my second Tesla and go to my villa in France and, fly my G7 home to, Saint-Tropez or stuff that most of us can never relate to. It's normal life stuff, but there's got to be something, even just a 2-liner that for a chorus in between those big, long 14-line lists of stuff. And you'd have them. We got to the solo and I hadn't heard a chorus yet. So
yeah, true. Yeah, I wrote this 40 years ago, so this was the early days.
What kind of an excuse is that?
No, that's the fact of the matter.
Yeah, good songs are always good, and they deserve to be, re-examined and tweaked as time goes on.
Thank you for that. Yeah,
because the fundamental idea is rock solid. You've got that. So, hey, that's just a suggestion for you.
Thanks,
if you
man.
do want to revisit the song, I think that would knock it up a couple of notches.
Cheers.
But I would literally just metadata tag, put in list song, and anybody who works with genres of music and placements of songs will know exactly what that means when they see it.
Gotcha. Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to talk about Saudi one day.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So you might one of the things I like about these metadata tags and the metadata databases now is you can put many phrases in there. I would also put in a to-do list because that is a more common term that maybe especially younger people working in music supervising and stuff would maybe catch on to rather than list song. But I put them both.
Cheers. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Good job.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Steve.
So next up we'll have Stephen Palmaderos. And you are here, right, Stephen? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw him come in.
Hey,
yeah,
Stephen.
Right.
Yeah.
And
hey, how you doing?
This is called
Good. You looking for anything in particular on this one?
Yeah, I'm this is a song I'm currently recording, and this should be the piano and violin track with my scratch vocal. I'm just wondering, anything in general, but what instruments you might add to it.
Okay. So more like
so it's not mixed in any way.
Okay. And I'm already intrigued by the title. So, yeah.
Any comments would be welcome.
There we go.
Okay. So, Stephen, could you, when you play the lyric, would you mind changing word or whatever you're in there to full screen when you do it?
Oh, okay. Sure. All right.
I'll be able to see more. I got crappy eyesight, so.
Okay. Here we go. Let's see.
Some choices are like torches that burn in our hearts forever. I was sad when I couldn't see you, blinded by reflections of all my imperfections.
imperfections in the hidden truth. Being human and being hurt was the same damn thing as loving you. When I told you I was broken, it was like I'd never spoken. Our hearts crossed the great divide. The walls had finally crumbled. We began to struggle in your sad blue eyes. Perhaps we were too young when we first fell in love. All those years trying again. And sometimes the hardest thing in life is to pay for your sins. When I finally healed, your love would reach.
I'm going to hop in the other room and grab a couple of pieces of percussion here. Hang on a second.
While we're waiting, Bill Emery, where are you at? No, what city are you in?
All right. Sorry for the slight delay there. So I got a couple questions for you, Stephen. What is the purpose of this recording? What are you planning to do with it? And what's the context?
Yeah, this is for an artist project for an album.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
this is an artist project, and
Okay,
potentially for sync too, if it would work.
so sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
So this recording, as it exists now, the piano, the fiddle, those tracks are done, right?
They are. This isn't mixed, so it's not balanced. But yes, those tracks are done.
Okay, so I'm torn because it's obviously not cut to any kind of a rhythmic reference, like a drummer or a click track or anything like that.
Correct.
And depending on what the artist wants to do with the song, I love the fact that it's, not locked and it ebbs and flows. It's a very, very sad song. And I don't mean this sarcastically, but it's like pass out the razor blades, really.
Yeah.
Well, the great thing about songs like that is that's how we get those emotions out, right? We hear a
Yeah.
song like that that's so dark and depressing, and it's like it lets us let go of those feelings. That's why sad songs, what was the Elton John song? Sad songs. Oh, I can't remember the title of it. Sad
songs say so much. Yeah.
Say so much, right? It's one of those kind of things where people can relate even if they're not going through the experience of it. So I love the fact that it ebbs and flows, and it's like a singer next to a piano player kind of, spilling his heart out. So part of me says, keep going down that track. I want to hear some kind of a rhythmic element. But if the tracks are already done and they're not locked in, that's kind of limiting. So what I would add to this is a bass that moves a little bit and doesn't play a lot of just big open diamonds, we call them in Nashville, big open whole notes and stuff, but actually moves around a little bit on the neck because there's so much space in the song. And unlike the song we were talking about earlier, there's so much room in the lyrics compared to like Avi's song that there's space that needs to be filled, and a moving bass through that would work really well. So that's one half of my brain. The other half of my brain is saying, if it wasn't an artist project and it was also going to be used for sync, which you intimated, then I would take a very different approach to this song, and I'd base it on rhythmic elements. So I'd start with, I don't know what your specific melody was, but not that, not that fast, but it could be like a, you know, like a groove. And then on the 2 and 4, you know, not only will it give, it will actually enhance the emotion of the song, but it will make it very contemporary. It's almost like a loop, but it's not a loop. And actually, you could do this with loops. I mean, there's plenty of loops, that really good sounding loops that just have, you know, shaker and tambourine in it. But to me, that if I was to produce the song from scratch, that's where I would start, rather than with the piano and the fiddle, and then add the piano and the fiddle to that. So that's like two completely conflicting directions you can go with it.
Well, it's so ironic that you're saying this, because I've already recorded I've recorded this track, and I think probably a lot of the elements that you're referring to occur in that track. It's more of a country. It's got more of a country feel, and it has those elements that you were talking about. I think to some degree, I'd love to be able to send it to you and see if it connects with what you're saying. But I felt like with that that instrumental and the way that track was produced, that it didn't really, there wasn't a lot of prosody with the lyric, and so that's why I'm re-recording this now.
Gotcha.
But I like the bass idea for sure.
So who is singing this song?
That's me.
So let me talk to the artist in you for a moment. The very first thing I would do as a producer is raise the key. You have much more range than you're using in this song, and for that emotional element, you don't need to be scooping down here on some of the notes. They ought to be up a third at least, and you ought to be pushing those upper notes a little bit to get that emotion out. It would again, you'd have to start over because you've already got a fiddle part and a piano part, but it you know, hearing your voice, I know that your best range is above where you're singing this song. And, you know, it's a fairly straightforward chord sequence, 1, 4, 5, 6 minor kind of thing. It wouldn't be hard to translate that into other keys. Whereas like certain stuff, especially on guitar, you know, if you're in an open tuning or something like that, it's just a nightmare. But I would try it up at third. You know, if you're in E, move it up to G, whatever, and keep going until those highest notes are like, okay, that's not working for me. Let's bring it down a whole step or whatever from there. And you'll be astonished at how different your voice sounds on it.
Okay.
That would be the absolute first thing I would do as a producer with the artist, is have them do it in different.
Okay. I appreciate that. It's great.
Sure thing, man. Absolutely.
Okay. Next we have Bill Emery. And
all right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Howdy.
Song is called Soon in Pleasant Company. Bill?
Hey, I know this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bill, you're going to have to tell me what kind of feedback you're looking for, considering I produced this song.
Fresh ears.
Actually, I didn't produce it. I mixed it. I don't want to take more credit than I mixed it.
You know, just hearing it with fresh ears.
Okay.
Any other thoughts?
So since I know you and I know the history of the song and what have you, where is the song right now in terms of what you're planning to do with it next?
It was released this last year. I've submitted it for placement, number of places, but never had anything, no bites on it.
Okay. All right. Fresh ears. Here we go.
It's just gonna be my baby and me. Sunday I head on the road. Monday I am on my own. Tuesday get some coffee to go. I'm dreaming all about my baby and me. Wednesday tried to find a phone. Thursday I was staying alone. Friday now I'm traveling home. Soon it's gonna be my baby and me. Soon in pleasant company. Soon in pleasant company. Soon in pleasant company. Soon in pleasant company. Soon I'm gonna be in pleasant company. It's just gonna be be my baby and me. Sunday got to leave again. Monday got to haul a bit. Tuesday out there on a job, thinking all about my baby and me. Wednesday have to pull the load. Thursday got to drive it down. Friday now I'm traveling home. Soon it's gonna be my baby and me. Soon in pleasant company. Soon in pleasant company. Soon in pleasant company. Soon in pleasant company. Soon I'm gonna be in pleasant company.
Yay, round of applause. By the way, those are all real horns played by Bill and his buddies on that song. So if you're looking for a horn player and or arranger, talk to Bill. So Bill, I've actually got two fresh thoughts on this song.
Yeah.
They're doing a really interesting thing in the advertising world nowadays. It's not new, but they're doing a new twist on it, and that's like trying to appeal situational. Speak Fett. Appeal situationally to people's emotions, and this song is a song all about anticipation, but it's also got all these reference to to traveling and a sequence of events. Man, this would be fantastic in a transportation related ad. So, if there was such a thing as a Greyhound anymore, somebody going to the Greyhound station and getting on the bus. And the references don't. What's that?
Going on a cruise.
Yeah. So, and because it's got this like upbeat, fun sort of style and everything, I could see it right now. Somebody, behind the wheel of a car, or walking through the airport or whatever. So there's a lot of travel, transportation related ads out there. So if I was to pitch this to a publisher or somebody like that, or directly to an ad agency, if you have that kind of contact, that's the approach I would take. Somebody who's excited about being with their significant other very soon, and I would write that in the metadata tags and what have you. Anticipation, positive anticipation, getting back together, anything like that would describe that. So that's the first fresh thought that I'd never thought of before. Okay. The other one is like not really related to this version of the song, but I love the fact that it's got that like big band horn thing going on. And as you and I know, we've discussed that there's not like, 150,000 big band posts every day for submissions, right? But it's perfect for a mood and an era of music. And one of the ways to increase your likelihood when those listings do come along of getting success is to have an instrumental version of it, which most importantly uses the same phrasing as the lyric. And trumpet players, sax players, a lot of horn players. And if somebody could do it, and you could call it anything you want. And literally the only thing you would have to do is add a melody instrument to it. And all of a sudden you've got a completely different pitch that, then the fact that it's big band or horn based or any of that stuff is its strength. So when, the music supervisor or whoever it is looking for horn songs or big band songs or 50s songs or however, all those categories that you put in there, they don't have to worry about lyric. They don't have to worry about, and we've talked about this, whether they do or don't like that singer on this song, all that stuff goes away. And now you have two completely independent pieces of music that you can use for totally different purposes simply by doing a melodic instrumental version. What's great about it, and the reason this can be done, is it's a really, really good melody and with great phrasing that an instrument could play. I had a really fascinating discussion. I don't know how many of you folks are familiar with Tommy Emmanuel or not, but Tommy's recorded many, 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 many songs in the studio over the years. And he is, a pretty world-renowned guitar player. He does Chet Atkins fingerstyle stuff. So he's playing the bass, the rhythm and the melody all at once. And I remember having a conversation literally right in this room with Tommy one day. And I said, Tommy, the one thing I notice about your melodies is they're really memorable in a way that other instrumental, like if I listen to a jazz record or whatever, that they really stick. And is there something unique you do? And he goes, oh yeah, mate, I always think like a singer when I write a melody. And this is one of those songs that can be played as an instrumental melody because it's based on a lyrical melody, and all the phrasing over top of the entire arrangement will be exactly right as long as the player plays the same melody with the same rhythmic elements as the singer did. So that's my other random brand new thought, is one additional track, mute the vocals, and you've got a completely second track to work with.
Yeah, I appreciate that input. I actually, on the original recording of the tracks, I did go back to it with two horns doing the melody back and forth, and it just didn't seem right.
Might be picking the right horn. And you're way more up on this genre than I am, but I don't know, a trombone might be better than a trumpet. You're a trombone player, so you would know that, but maybe it needs a clarinet because there aren't woodwinds in it. Well, there's saxes in this. That's right.
Right.
But I wouldn't give up on the idea just yet. It may just be a question of getting the right horn or the right other melodic thing in there that will complement the horns and still sound authentic to the style, the genre, whatever. But if you do have those other tracks you did melodically with instruments, I'd like to hear them sometime.
All right.
I'd be curious to hear what you came up with, even though obviously we didn't use them. But I don't think you sent me any melody stuff. No. Cool.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Fun to hear your music again, brother. Say hi to Colorado for me.
I shall.
Okay. Next up, this is my own. This is called Love Sneaks Up on You.
Cool. And any particular feedback you're looking for?
This is kind of, the chorus is very short. So I always think of it, frankly, as an AABA song, but wait till you get to the B part. I guess that's what, I just want to make sure you hear that part of the song. But
okay,
yeah, just general comments is
all right.
Where do you think it would best fit? Also, it's probably a good thing to always do. All right, so here we go. Let's see.
I love the title.
Yeah,
titles are key.
Yeah.
Full screen, please.
Paging through a magazine, being watched by eyes unseen. A smile grows across her face. It's time to change the pace. Love sneaks up on you. Love sneaks up on you. Try too hard, he'll run away. Won't come back another day. Quietly just read. Maybe then he'll see that love sneaks up on you. Love sneaks up on you. Love sneaks up on you. One look is all she needs. One smile and they'll both see. Into his eyes she must fall. Into her eyes he must fall. Now he's walking round her way, maybe stay for many days. Might as well just be. Finally he sees love sneaks up on you. Love sneaks up on you. Love sneaks up on you.
Yay, round of applause, folks.
Couldn't find the window.
I absolutely love what you're doing rhythmically with the timing of those first couple words of the first two lines of each verse. That is just so totally cool phrasing. It's like surprising, but feels totally natural at the same time. And you could take those exact same lyrics and have them land on the downbeat, but it's just so much more interesting this way. But I totally agree. It's an AABA song. I don't think there's a chorus. I wouldn't call it a chorus. It doesn't need to be a chorus. But I did have one question. The verses, is the first verse about him and the second verse about her, or vice versa, or is it all about him or her up till the point of what we're calling the bridge?
Well, she's the one looking at him. And so at first it's a little bit vague, kind of purposely. And then you realize as the song goes on, oh, he's not looking at her. It's she's the one who's, looking at him, and he's the one who's surprised.
Okay. So,
yeah.
So I'm going to put on my Nashville Music Row commercial entertainment business publishing hat here for a second. I was confused. And I was trying to follow the lyric, and I wasn't confused, ironically enough, until I got to the bridge with the he and the she and the they and all that kind of stuff. I think there's a way to re-examine this song and make it really powerful by examining the person. It switches person a lot. And I like the idea of it being in third person all the way through, and everything then is from one of their perspective. The other idea is to put it in the first person and put yourself in her shoes or his shoes. And then it's about, I do this, and then you don't see me, whatever the case may be. And that's a rework, that's a big, I probably should have asked you before we started. This sounds like a totally completed release track that's already been out there for some time and is commercially available, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's perfectly fine then, exactly the way it is. But if you wanted to pitch this song, then just like I was saying to Enrico before, I would consider re-examining the song and going, what can we do lyrically that will either make it more universal or something like that. But my inclination would be to make it more personal and more specific about one of the characters from their viewpoint. And that's a classic Nashville thing they'll tell you when you go to the Row. Well, I can't pitch this song to, pick a country artist because, it's confusing and Bubba can't, well, he won't make it through verse 2 kind of thing. And I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying that's the perception of the types of people in the publishing industry, the kind of attitude you're going to come up against. I mean, I'm not a big believer in just going back and redoing a song because somebody said one thing about it. But if you're going to repitch the song anyway in a new context, then it's worth looking at. One thing I love about it is the music and the production. So if you've still got the tracks without the lyrics, without the lead vocals or the backing vocals on it, man, that's a great piece of music.
Thank you.
I mean, literally, like from the first 10 seconds, I was in a frame of a mood, it put me there. And I didn't even know what the song was about or what was going to happen or whatever. But man, you can't put a price on that. So I would not touch that music track.
Gotcha. It was recorded in Nashville, actually.
Oh, well, there you go. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
A guy named Travis Allen met Nashville Tracks.
Oh, yeah. I know Travis. So the one thing I would do for a, what the heck? One thing I might do is those musical interludes between what you and I are both calling the verses are really long, and they could be half as long. But the problem is, because of that beautiful electric guitar soloing over top, it'd be really hard to edit that stuff without cutting notes off or coming in late on notes or whatever. So that might be something you just want to leave alone. But as a producer in today's world anyway, for non-artist stuff, I would shorten those, every one of those interludes, because they're pretty long. I mean, in terms of the percentage of the song, they take out up probably a good 20% of it.
Okay.
But man, I could listen to that track all day long. Seriously, it's just, it's got such a beautiful floaty everything about it. I mean, it's so compliments to my colleague, Mr. Allen there.
There you go. Well, and the musicians, Jimmy.
Yeah, we're a little happy with our musicians here in Toontown.
Absolutely. You want to do Catherine's song then?
Yeah,
Jimmy?
let's hit Catherine's, and then if there's time we get those other ones that didn't show.
Okay.
How many we got left? Am I being too long-winded here? Or? Jimmy, do you need to crack the whip on me, or?
No, I think we're perfect.
Cool.
As long as you're able to stay awake, we're fine.
Oh, once I get started, you can't stop me. So, you know, it is, it's only 10:35 at night here. What the heck?
Let's see. All right. This is called Rodeo. And let me see. Gotta get the share. Here we go.
Is Catherine with us?
No, I'm actually working with Catherine.
Oh, okay.
But she, just to let you know, she worked with Jimmy. So,
okay.
On this, let me restart it again. There we go.
Just an ordinary dusty day. You were rodeoing and I was with the kids, and your brother called and said you've been hurt real bad, hurt real bad. My heart was in my throat the whole day. Seemed like a century to get to you. And the doctor said I'm sorry, but his riding days are over, over. I love the rodeo and you, I always will. You don't have to prove anything, you're all I need. You're all I need. 'Cause you can be my cowboy, and I'll be your rodeo. And you can be my cowboy, and I'll be your rodeo. You sat around the house feeling sorry for yourself. I knew you just wanted to disappear, and I said go outside and talk to God, talk to God. He went outside and prayed a lot. He saw the things in his life that he forgot, like all his friends and family, helping him through those darker days, those darker days. I love the rodeo and you, I always will. You don't have to prove anything.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So Jimmy, can you shed some light on what the context of this song is in terms of what Catherine's doing with it and what her intentions are?
This one is kind of a train wreck of a production. Um, Personally, I thought that it should sound a little more country. I think that the cello is way out of place. The drums don't sound right at all. It really should have a little bit more like ride cymbal or something in there to, sparkle it up just a touch. Those are the things that I would have done. But she had another friend of hers produce this, and that's why it came out this way. In fact, the lead guitar parts that she had on there were so bad, I literally threw this thing in there and said, "Look, some of these parts might work better than whatever that guy was doing that had done that." And then she wound up putting in everything that I played, which doesn't make sense at all. Just a few of those little, double stop bends and things. That's all I wanted to put in there because that's
Mm-hmm.
the country. But instead, she threw in all kinds of everything that I threw at it, and she just stuck it in there. So I'm not happy with the production at all. Um, I don't know.
So where is the song now? What's its status? What's its state? Where is it in its life cycle?
I'm probably going to want to re-record it, and then she wants to use this as an artist thing because she's an artist. She's got a great
Okay.
voice.
Okay. Well, one of the great things about stuff being an artist pitch rather than a pitch to other artists to cut or to film or TV or advertising or whatever the case may be is that there are no rules. So you can do whatever you damn well please. Now, how your audience reacts to it then is dependent on that. But we're not working in such a tight box. But I think I agree with you. The one thing, when I was listening to the song until the first chorus, I thought, oh, this is kind of a folk Americana thing. And her style of singing or whatever. And I was really kind of intrigued by the story. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? And then the cowboy thing came in, and I was like, oh, this is supposed to be a country song. This doesn't really sound like a country song. This is a folk Americana thing to me. And then it almost sounded like it was a cajon that was doing that rhythmic thing. Am I right? Do you happen to know?
It was.
It didn't sound like a kick. It sounded like a cajon or something like that to me.
I think it was a Native American drum.
Well, there you go. Well, my brain went, oh, there's some kind of a Latin thing going on here. So Jimmy's got a point. There's nothing wrong with unabashedly deciding what a song is style wise and sticking to it. And in a song like this, the best answer may be a guitar vocal, just because it's you can hear it in her voice. It's beautiful singing and really, really good emotion in the vocal. It's like every element that we add production wise crowds that vocal and takes energy away from it. So why don't we get rid of all the stuff we don't need and just let it breathe? So that would be, my first suggestion would be just do it as a really nice guitar vocal and let her sing the damn song. It's her singing that's selling. I mean, making the song appealing to the audience. I don't know if it's a true story or not, but it feels like a true story to me the way it's being sung. So that was my first thought. The other thought, the only thing that stood out to me from a song construction viewpoint was the towards the end of the chorus, there was a cowboy line, two lines that were repeated twice. And I was like, that doesn't need to be. Because in the verses, the very tail end lines were repeated, but only part of them. And that was like good reinforcement for the verses. But that ended up being a really long chorus. If you took that second repeated line out, or lines, I should say, they're the same melody, the same chords and everything, you wouldn't lose a thing in the song. So compact it down, keep it simple. Some songs just don't need production for two reasons. One, to make them authentic to the genre that they're trying to be, or two, to cover up a crappy song. This is not either. So let it breathe and let it just be, a solitary, sad song that a singer is singing about a really heartfelt subject. So I think what I'm saying is in very long-winded terms, I'm basically agreeing with you, Jimmy.
Thanks, Fett. I appreciate that.
But there's a really cool, there's a really good song in there at the core of all this. So, no need to spoil it.
Yeah, when we do it live, I think it works really well. So,
and there you go. And it's probably what you playing and her singing it.
Exactly.
Bingo. There you go. Need I say more, right?
All right, Steve, we got a couple more that the guys aren't here, but they might want to check us out on YouTube later. So
there's 4 more actually. So
hello, YouTube. All right.
Do you want to do that many, or do you,
let's go for it. Let's rock it.
All right.
Okay. All right. You said you knew AJ, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's do AJ's then. Let's see here. This is called "I Love You So."
I mean, there's not a whole lot of AJ Biglers that I know are songwriters, so it could be somebody else, but probably not.
Let's see, share the screen. And here we go.
If the moon and the stars refuse to shine, then the light from your eyes will do fine. The only thing I need to know, that you will always be mine. You will always be mine. And the heart that beats inside of me belongs to only you. It's mine to give and yours to take. And I'm hoping that that's what you'll do. Yes, I'm hoping that that's what you'll do. The stars will shine and the moon will rise. As sure as these things will happen, that's how you will know I love you so. Your crooked little smile always gets to me, and the way you take my hand when we're in a crowd or watching TV. It's the little things that make life so grand. It's the little things that make life so grand. What I mean is getting through. The stars will.
Okay, so I'm a little this is a soft spot of mine. I'm a sucker for 6/8. I just love songs in 6/8 because I don't know about the rest of you, but there's no way I could not move while that bump that was going on. I don't know what it is about 6/8, but not only do I respond to it, there's got to be something like, metaphysically going on with 6/8 songs, but I find myself humming them later in the day. It's like, what is that? Where did that come from? Oh, it's that 6/8 song I heard earlier today. So this song is in 6/8. And I think one of the things AJ did really well was match the timing of the lyric and notes that he shortened and held out to work with 6/8. So if you sing it like you know, if you do everything in 4/4 and then you suddenly do a song in 6/8, a lot of people have a lot of difficulty like switching their lyric mode, especially if they write the lyrics first, from 4/4 to 6/8. The one thing that it felt to me, and AJ would totally understand this being a Nashville guy, but it was like 2 verses basically, and then the first chorus. And I would like to have heard, because those verses are so long, I would have liked to heard first verse, chorus, second verse, chorus, before we ever got to the musical interlude or whatever, just to give, you know, some payoff to the listener. But the other thing that was really cool that I liked about the song that made it unique is the dominant instruments in this song are an accordion and a banjo, and it totally works. This is sort of like Americana leaning towards Celtic. So that would be the market that, you know, if this song was going to be pitched or something like that, that's the market I would aim at. I wouldn't try to make it a country song or any other genre. I would make it a Celtic flavored Americana song. The only other comment, and AJ will, I'm sure, totally appreciate this. There is absolutely nothing wrong than tuning a few notes in a song like this as a singer that aren't quite on the money. And I am not a big fan of auto-tune. I'm not a big, I'm not any kind of a believer in sanitizing and fixing, quote, every note in a song. But there were like 4 spots that stood out where the pitch wasn't there on the note, and the rest of them were fine. So go in there, take those 4 notes, give them a little goose, goose them up to pitch, and leave it alone. It will never come across as inauthentic or anything like that, but it could make the difference between whether the song is picked up or not. So that's what I have to say about that one.
Now,
So
there's
AJ,
something that I
hello,
had a
hello
question
when you
about.
see this later. What's that?
I was singing Rainbow Connection right over the whole thing.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it is absolutely copyright infringement in this day and age. And if I was to have that come into my studio, I'd say, dude, I love the song, but it's so much like Rainbow Connection, I can't do it.
Ah, well, that's a good observation, and definitely a discussion then that AJ can have with you about what those implications are. Seriously, because
We're having our attorney night for March, so that'll be really good. McLean.
So, and I wonder if this was a song that was supposed to sound like that. I mean, how many times do we see listings? Oh, well, I don't want you to be exactly that, but make it as close as possible and still get away with it. It could have been an assignment like that for all I know, but in AJ's absence, I can't ask him.
Yeah,
but
it was
good point, and
close.
definitely something worth paying attention to. Yeah.
Okay, next one up is from Papa Satch. This is called Want to Say.
And Papa Satch is also not with us, right?
Correct. Yeah, well, all the rest of them are not with us, but so you don't have to make the commentary too long. Just
okay,
give it some justice, so to speak.
All right.
And let's see.
Give it some props.
There we go.
Gotta park my car inside a long-term lot on the trip to Santa Fe, traveling by train. And the people that I met just seem to be the best, telling stories of the road along the way. I know I was really feeling down and all alone, although there were people sitting closely all around. I hope I could shake the fear of being all alone, all alone, all alone. As I settled in my space, once I found my seat, and I look at every face that's on this train, there was someone there I thought that I had seen before. Or was it someone from the past, a distant dream? I know that I was really feeling down and all alone, although There were people sitting closely all around. I hope I could shake this feel of being on my own. On my own. On my own.
That was a perfect juxtaposition to AJ's song because, and I don't want to sound too harsh here, but this is what not to do with auto-tune. I love this song. It's got such a great vibe to it, and that delay that's on the vocal just enhances that mood all the more. But man, I can hear auto-tune on every single note of the vocal. And there are people who will, have a 180-degree opposite statement from mine. But my attitude is, if it ain't broke, don't tune it. And if there's a few notes that need a little goosing, I'm totally fine with that. They're completely transparent. They go by without anyone noticing, and it just makes, increases your chances for success. But somebody turned on the tuner on 11 on this song and left it on, and every single note is tuned. And there's a few times when it comes in and goes, and you literally can hear the computer kicking in on an exact pitch that is not what human beings do. And to me, as a producer, or if I was looking, to use this song myself, I'd have to say, man, I'm really sorry, but that tuning took it out of the running. So hopefully, and the really sad thing is he's got a great voice. He's got that great little kind of breathy thing he does at the end of lines and stuff. I mean, he's got vocal quality that it's doing a disservice to the vocalist by over-tuning the snot out of the vocal. And once I heard it, I couldn't get my ear off it. I tried to concentrate on the lyric and the song, and it just lost me. So I know I'm a bit extreme in this regard, and I'm an old fart, and I've been at this a long time. So that might have something to do with it. But, there are people in Nashville. The biggest offender on the planet is Nashville Commercial Country on Music Row, and they kill every good singer with auto-tune here, especially the guys. I don't know what it is, but every male vocal coming out of Music Row is just just a little, it's all computerized, individual notes. My point is, then use AI to make a vocal. Don't bother putting a human being in front of a microphone. All right, enough of my rant. Great song, actually a really good vocal. And I love the whole mood and everything else. The production is great. It's just turn off that bloody auto-tuner. Thank you.
Would you call that new country?
Yes. Yeah, that would definitely work in today's country. It leans a little bit towards what we in town here call East Nashville country, over across the Cumberland River, which it means it's not quite so formulaic as a lot of the stuff coming out of Music Row, which that's a good thing. I think it's very interesting. It's got a little bit of rock influence, but it's not like a carbon copy of, the Eagles circa 1976, which they do a lot of that stuff on Music Row. It's much more interesting. And again, man, the production is great. The mood is cool and everything else. So let the damn guy sing. He sings great. All right, I'll shut up now.
All right, next is Ed Lackey. The name of this song is Blue Movie Queen.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
A good title.
Something else
No comment. Let's move on to the next one.
All right, this is the last one. This is let's see here. Ted Wild, and it's called As I Look Into Your Eyes.
Ted Wild, I know him.
Oh, okay.
Another one of them California boys.
Ah, okay.
By way of Pennsylvania.
Give me one moment here. Okay, so here we go. Share screen.
Light in the sky, look of love in your eyes. Evening descend, lovers, now more than friends. Feel the fire start as you call my name, whispered secrets shared, so wanting to love, yet so easily scared. Feeling I have as I lie by your side, a feeling I no longer hide. It's softer than moonlight and sweeter than sin. As I look in your eyes, as I look in your eyes, the music begins. Open my heart to all that can be. I wandered blind, now I can see, no longer blind. Now I can see. Hearts that dance, sharing a dream.
All right. In the interest of full disclosure, Ted is a dear friend of mine and a very long term client. And I've produced at least 21 songs for him over the years. So I'm very familiar with sort of Ted's milieu as far as music goes and stuff. Uh, the one thing that Ted definitely has a knack for is that sort of Latin samba meets jazz kind of melodic thing. But I want to talk a little bit about the production on this, and I realize I know what Ted is doing, and I know his DAW software and the studio at home and stuff, but this song took a little while to get established rhythmically, so that that kind of bongo beat didn't really come in until the song was well underway, and then like all of a sudden in the second section, it you suddenly bunka and the lyric, the melody was locked in. Oh, there's the rhythm of the song. So I would say from a production viewpoint, even though this is essentially a work tape, I would always try to make sure that that rhythmic center is established first before anything else gets going in the song. So that little intro of the different guitars floating around and stuff was very interesting, but it was really hard to get the listeners, grasp around where the rhythmic center is. I think one of Ted's strengths is his melodies, and they work really, really well with the stylus on that. Na, 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 na. That's really, really effective in the bossa type songs. I suspect Ted's going to send me this work tape that he's done to produce with the Brecking crew here in Nashville. So I can talk more with Ted about it offline, but that just as a general comment for everybody, get that rhythmic center established right up front, even on a demo, a work tape, whatever, because they say that like biologically, the first thing human beings respond to in music is rhythm, not melody, not chords, not anything else, but rhythm. So give them the rhythm first, let them feel the rhythm, and then come in with everything else you've got. So there, did we get through all 14?
We got them.
So Jimmy, is there any other pontification or musings or anything else you'd like me to address here? I'm good for some more, commentary. I guess I should at least tell people what I'm up to and that I have a website. I guess that's probably the proper promotional thing to do.
We'll put that in the chat. Yeah, sure.
But also talk about it a little bit too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, my website is azaleamusic.com. If I'd known 40 years ago what havoc that would wreak, I wouldn't have picked the name, but that's AZA, or for those of you overseas, AZALEA music, all one word, azaleamusic.com. You can find all of my online courses, stuff about production. I think I may or may not have a link to my book, but that's on Amazon. You can just go to Amazon and look for Fett's Mixing Roadmap. I've got tons of stuff up there about the Empowering Women in Audio Clinic. I do want to mention one thing. I know Ronan, Chris Murphy, was on here a couple of weeks back, and he puts on a fantastic event called the Kakapahan Retreat in West Virginia, on the border with Virginia, every year. And my wife, Nancy Moran, and I have both been privileged to be instructors / mentors at the last two of them. And we're going again this year. And I just can't say enough about it. For us, it's like we want to go there. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're working too. It's that much fun. But it's a combination songwriting and production or recording retreat. There's two paths, and you can switch and mix and match between the paths. They've got a great, like half a dozen mentor instructors there. And it's just a really fabulous event. And I believe it's just spelled kakapahan.com. You know what? I'm going to double check that. It used to be called the Cape and Springs Retreat, but I'm going to type it in before I spell it to make sure that I've got the website right. Well, let's see here. Oh, yeah, I got it right on the first try. So it's CACAPEHON. Once again, CACAPEHON, kakapahan.com, or Kakapahan is the current pronunciation. Nobody really knows. It's like a Shawnee word, and nobody really knows what the original pronunciation was. But either Kakapahan or Kakapahan, either one of those, they're both spelled the same way. CACAPEHON.com will get you there. And I cannot say enough about this retreat. It happens in May this year, and Nancy and I are super, super excited to be there. So hopefully we'll see some of y'all there as well. Jimmy, anything else you need to ask me, or is it time for me to shut up?
You're always awesome. But the one thing with Ed Lackey's, I know what Ed's about because he's one of our regulars here at SongNet. And yeah, it was a little bit strange. He tends to just put loops together and create his own lyrics and stuff. And that was actually one of the better ones that we've heard.
Well, I'll let you take that up with him.
Yeah, well, and I can see where that kind of thing would work well in like a crazy anime sort of a thing, if that ever came up. So yeah, there is some value to that too. Even though I don't know, it's kind of a little hard to listen to. I've always found that there's places for everything.
True. Everything has a home. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about that. I'll give you 100% agreement on that.
Yeah, well, Rob Case's story about his thing was pretty amazing. I think maybe I've told that to you guys before. But Rob Case is he was at Taxi all the time. I don't know if you heard the story or not, but one day he got one of the worst pieces of music ever. I mean, it was 10 times worse than anything we've heard tonight. And it was like, what the heck is this? It was so bad. He was actually pissed off enough. He was going to call the guy and say, why did you waste this piece of plastic and waste he was just really mad. So as soon as he started to pick up the phone, then the phone rings. And the phone rang and he goes, yeah, who's this? And then they talked for a minute and he goes, oh yeah. I says, yeah, Rob, I need something that sounds like the worst garage band in the world. He goes, boy, have I got something for you. He just played it over the phone and it was perfect.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And he says, what is this perfect for? This is it's not even listenable. He goes, yeah, that's the idea, because we're doing this new TV show. It's an animated series called South Park. And
oh my goodness.
And one of the main characters is starting the worst garage band in the world. So we need something that sounds so bad. And he says, boy, have I got that for you. Well, of course, they used it.
What a great story.
It became one of the biggest things for that guy and his band. They made a lot of money off of it. Unfortunately, he thought that he could do it again with the same crap. So it just kept going on and on. And finally, Rob says, no, your stuff is crap. You just got lucky on this one shot.
Yeah, and I'm sure with syndication and reruns and everything else, it's still paying.
Oh yeah,
so that's a great anecdote. Well, you did mention the range of the quality of the songs and stuff, and maybe that's a perfect parting comment for me to make. I mean, the bar's pretty high. If you listen, we listened to 14 songs tonight, and that's just a random collection of people writing songs and what have you. And some of them were really outstanding. The singing, the production, the lyrics, the chord structures. Somebody in one of the songs we heard really recently, it was AJ's song. He threw in this major to minor thing in the second verse, which I was like, oh, that is so killer. I mean, there's a lot of really good quality elements in this music. If you compared it to 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, when I first got to Nashville, the bar has successively gotten higher and higher, especially for home produced stuff. I mean, in order to get some of the quality that we've heard today from people who've done it at home, you had to pay a lot of money to a commercial studio to get to that level. And I am constantly impressed at how much higher the bar gets all the time. So kudos to everybody. And thanks for making it a very pleasurable evening for me. There's ain't nothing better than listening to a bunch of great music for a couple hours. And thank you, Jimmy. We finally did this.
Yes, we really appreciate that. And I'm trying to think if we could figure out a way to get Nancy into. She does mostly artist development, right?
Yeah, she does artist development. She has a completely different perspective than I do, because she was a touring artist for many, many years, songwriter. And that's her whole side of things. Whereas I'm the production guy mostly. So yeah, I'll pass it on, and maybe you'll have Nancy on sometime soon.
You know how we do it. And the thing about artist development, though, is that quite often that really needs to be kind of in person, because it's literally hands-on sometimes.
Yeah, and the thing about artist development I won't go off on a big, huge tangent here, but the thing that's interesting about artist development is it's so constantly evolving that what you need to do as an artist is completely different from year to year. Not only the specific, tools and websites and stuff you have to use, but what entire disciplines of marketing and promotion and technology change that you have to use. And it's a full-time job to be your own artist, manager, everything nowadays. And it's hard. I'm glad I'm old and don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, well, with stuff like AI kicking up all over the place, and that's becoming a weird word, but also now the avatar things that are coming up. Kiss is going to be touring as a virtual band. That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, in fact, when you had Ronan on a couple of weeks ago, I remember your conversation about who was it? Tupac was doing avatars, ages ago, and now they're like totally seamless. You don't need the 3D glasses to look at them and all this kind of stuff. Who knows what they'll have even a year from now? It's incredible. It's exciting and daunting at the same time.
Yeah, it's being able to integrate everything together because the industry is constantly changing.
Yeah. Well, I see it here in the studio. I mean, the tools I use are new all the time. I mean, it's part of the job is learning curve. It's an ordinary thing. You got to do it. You just take it for granted and move on because it ain't going away. No doubt.
All right. So anybody
All
else
right.
have any questions?
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thanks
you
for,
very much,
for
Fett.
hanging
You
in
rock.
there with me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
a wrap.
That was a lot of
Okay.
fun.
Yeah, and for those of you that are local, we'll see you at the next showcase. Remember to email songnetshowcase@gmail.com because our old email address wasn't working right. And we'll see you guys soon. And our next guest in March will be Ben McLean, and he'll have all those legal things to talk about. And now I have something new because of the Rainbow Connection thing. So we'll
There
see
you
what
go.
happens. All right, have a
righty.
good one, guys. Good night. Thanks again.